Hi class, I am going to show you how to create master pages in InDesign. So you see on my screen right now, I have opened up to get ready to open a new document, and I have selected 11 by 17. Over here I have it as facing pages. I have one column. I have margins that notice that this is broken. If I click this shut, it makes all of the margins the same. So I am going to unclick that. I'm going to keep the top at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to make the other margins 3/4 of an inch. Notice that I do not have facing pages put on here, okay? And then I am going to add a bleed, and I will explain what a bleed is in class. And the bleed is usually 1/8 of an inch. So that's where our bleed is right there. And then I'm going to say, okay, create. Okay, so here's my new page. So you can notice that the top margin's a little bit smaller, and then this red line right here is my bleed. The black line is the edge of my paper, and again the pink line is the margin. Okay, so I am going to go up to pages, and notice I'm going to just pull this out. Actually, I'm going to pull pages out and send stroke back in there. So here I have my pages, and you can see it says master page A here, and then there's this word none. So I'm going to create a master page A. So the first thing I do is this is clicked on page 1, and you can notice down at the bottom it says page 1 as well. So when I click on master page, I need to actually double click to really make it on the master page. So notice it says master page here. So if I click on page 1, it looks like page 1's highlighted, but see it still says master page. So you need to double click. So now if you're watching that lower corner, I'm going to go up to master page. I'm going to double click. It's really quite frustrating that it will highlight and turn blue, but not actually be on that page. So that's something that can really trip you up, that you think you're on the master page and you're not. Because essentially starting out, they look exactly alike. So it's tricky. So now I'm on my master page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some details to this page. I'm going to zoom out here so you can see it a little bit better. I am going to add, say, well, one of the things we're going to do is add grid lines. And so let me start with that. And we're going to take your resume, which is created on 8.5 by 11, you're going to put it on 11 by 17 page. And you can do that several different ways, but the obvious way is that you will have a grid that does have an 8.5 by 11 in the middle. So let me drag from the left. So I'm dragging from the rulers. And again, if you don't see your rulers, you're going to go up to view and make sure that you show rulers. Okay. So I've put my line at 8.5 by 11. I'm going to zoom in here again for a moment. So here I've got it at 8.5 by 11, and I want to make my margins, I want to make them 1/4 inch. So if I add an 1/8 inch to one side and an 1/8 inch to the other side, that's 1/4 of an inch. And then I can get rid of this line in the middle. Right here, I can click on it, and when it's highlighted, I can just hit delete, or I can drag it off the page. So that's my main center point of this. And then what I want to do is I am going to create a grid that's evenly across here. So my little trick, so this isn't in the guidebooks, it's my trick. I am going to put a box within this space here, and it's a text box. Notice a little cursor here. And I'm going to go up to Object, Text Frame Options, and I am going to add 3 columns. Okay, so it says column 3. I'm going to make the the gutter, which is a space between the columns, 1/4 inch, and I'm going to say okay. So now you see what it's done. It's given me 3 equal columns that are within this space. So this is just, you know, I move this box around. These aren't really column guides. It's just something I do so I don't have to do math in my head and figure out exactly where these column guides need to be. So I am dragging them across this way. And then I'm just going to move this box over here. And I'm going to drag them over here as well. Now, I could have actually made one box that was the whole width of the page and put in 6 columns, and that would have worked too. But I wanted to just show you how to make columns without without having this little trick that I like to do, okay? So now sometimes what I do too, if I want to make horizontal lines, the same thing. I don't want to have to do the math, so I can just rotate this box holding down the shift key, and then you see my lines are horizontal. So then I can drag this box up to the top here so that then I can put in these equal margins. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to move this down and I'm going to drag in a guideline for my heading. So I actually want to give an 1.5 inch buffer at the top, and then I'll drag this so it is 1/4 inch just below that. So this is an unusual space. It's not equally distant like these. It's giving me a header space. So then I'm going to drag my guidelines, whoops, down this way. So the reason why you do this on what's called a master page is because you don't want to have to drag all these guidelines to every single page. Now I can get rid of this text box. So there I have a nice even grid. The other thing I want to do is create an automatic page number. So to do that, I create a little text box, and I'm going to put my page number down here on the lower right-hand corner. And I'm going to drag this box here, and you see the little cursor there, okay? So what you're going to do is you are going to go to type, because we're adding in type, insert special character, markers, and current page number, okay? So you're going to want to write that down. It's type, insert special character, markers, current page number, okay? And so I get an A here. That A represents what will be a number on every page. So on the master page, it just says A because I'm on the A master page. If I go and I double click to put me on page 1, notice it's a page 1. If I add a page later, and it will automatically make page 2. So I'm going to go back up here, and I can style this type no matter what way I want. So I'm going to make this number the font that I want, and I'm going to wait for that to happen. I'm going to use DIN. Just also type in DIN, D-I-N, and I'll use alternate, and I'm going to make it smaller than, I'm going to make it 11 points. Now I want it to be flush right with this edge, so I'm going over to here to hit a line on the right side. So if I have a double digit number, I want it to align on that right. So you don't want to just line up where that is, and different numbers have different widths. So you literally want to align it where you want it to be. And you might want it to make it centered, where you would go and put it right here on the center of your page, and then you would select centered instead of flush left, okay? So now when I go to page 1, you see page 1. And if I drag down from the A and put in a new page, so when I see that little line that shows up, that's telling me it's going to drop a new page. So here's page 2, okay? If I drop none, down, I get page 3 that does not have a master page. So there's no grid lines, there's no page number, and if I go down here, it says just page 3. So I don't want that. I want it to be master page A. So I could go and throw this page away by hitting delete and drag down another page, but I can also just click on master page A and drag it over here. So I want to point out too, this says A. This says nothing here. When I drag this over, it puts an A there, and it's put in the grid lines, and it's put on the number 3. Okay, I'm going to put this on pause now because I want to show you how I'm going to move some stuff in from Illustrator. Okay, so you can see now that I have my InDesign file on the left and I have Illustrator open on the right. So I can go and I can grab something from Illustrator and I can just do Command C to copy it, go over to InDesign and do Command V to paste it. We're seeing the little spinny wheel. There you go. Whoops, I messed with it. There it goes. Okay, so there's that chair. You can grab whole pages of stuff. So I can grab all of this information here and I can copy that and paste over here too. So you could grab your whole layout, but notice what happens. See the way it's grouped? So when I move that over, I can put it within my grid lines here. And so then I can go up to edit and I can say, ungroup, am I losing my mind? Where is it? Ungroup. Object, sorry, object, ungroup. So then I have my text here, that line that I've been playing with. I have these different pictures, but notice my text. See the way it's broken up sort of funny? It's broken it up to multiple text boxes. So that's one, it's random. See the way it's just these different letters? So generally with text, it very often is better to just go into the text line and with your text tool and select the text, copy it, and paste it into a text box. So I've got the spinning wheel going here, so I just would go and select the text, copy with my command keys, and then I am going to create a text box over here and paste the text. Okay, so I've lost the styling, which is better than having my text all broken up. But again, if I were to, I think this will work. Who knows necessarily, because you can see there's things that don't work when you drag and drop. So if I drag that line over to here, okay, so the other thing is I just dragged it instead of copying and pasting. I feel like I get less problems when I cut and paste rather than dragging, but I have no basis for saying that. I'm going to hit ungroup here. And so you see, again, it's broken into these funky ways. So I can select my text and I can use the eyedropper to grab it, perhaps. Yeah, I wasn't sure that was going to work. So because it's so wonky, let me try it one more time. You don't necessarily get everything coming in as the way you would expect it to. So you would just reset the text, okay? So that is how you can copy and paste things from Illustrator into InDesign, okay? And then once you have them there, this line, for example, I can go in and modify it because the pen tool works the same way. Here's your pen tool right here. It's got the same controls under it when I click on it. The pen tool works the same in InDesign as it does in Illustrator, where then I go to modify by using the white direct selection tool, clicking on the line to be able to grab a point. The other thing I can do is I can click and hold the shift key to move something up and down.